In 2003, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, one of the most dominant boxers in history, filed for bankruptcy. He was over $30 million in debt, despite earning more than $300 million during his career. That raises a powerful question about money itself. If someone who made hundreds of millions can lose it all, what does that say about how we understand and manage money? Because the truth is, most of our choices in life, our ambitions, our stress, even our happiness, are tied to money. But what's the point of earning more of it if we never learn how to manage it wisely? Today, Americans have the highest credit card debt in history. Translation? We haven't learned a thing. Debt has quietly become an invisible weight carried by millions, and not just in America, but across the world. So, take a second to reflect. What does money mean in your life? Does it flow in and out as quickly as it comes? Has it ever left you vulnerable, desperate for a shortcut, or tempted by a get-rich-quick course or a fake financial guru? See, this video, and this entire channel, exists to tackle these questions, because our perception of money might be even more important than our ability to earn it. After all, if our minds aren't wired for financial success, even a six-figure income can vanish into thin air. So, today, let's break that cycle and explore a smarter, more grounded framework for understanding money. Part 1. What is money, really? Let's start with a question. What actually is money? When you buy something online or get paid for your work, what's the true meaning of that exchange? Most people define money as a medium of exchange, a tool that lets us trade goods and services. But that definition barely scratches the surface. A better way to look at it is this. Money is a representation of value. You trade your dollars for something because you believe it's worth that value. And while prices are set by the market, your decision to spend is still based on your perception of worth. So remember this core idea: money equals value. That's a crucial shift in mindset. Because so often, we attach morality to money. We hear the old saying, money is the root of all evil. We see someone successful and think, they must have cheated the system, or they got lucky. But we rarely ask the more important question: what value did they create to earn that money? Money itself isn't good or bad. It's neutral. It's simply a mirror reflecting the value you bring into the world. What matters is not the money, but the morals and choices of the person holding it. Yes, scammers and fraudsters exist, but that says more about them than about money itself. Money simply expands your options and gives you freedom. What you do with that freedom is what defines your character. Now you might say, that's great, but how does this help me when I'm living paycheck to paycheck? And that's fair. Understanding that money equals value doesn't pay your bills, but it's the foundation, the mindset you need before you can change your reality. So let's ask a deeper question. What's your relationship with money? Part 2. Production versus consumption. Money enters your life, and it leaves your life. This cycle defines your financial relationship, what we can call production versus consumption. For most people, production means earning money, usually through labor or work. Consumption, on the other hand, is what you spend. Your rent, food, subscriptions, that new gadget you didn't really need. Your net worth is the result of how you balance these two forces. Now think back to those debt statistics we talked about. Where do you think the problem lies? Production or consumption? For most people, it's consumption. The Career Builder study found that 78% of American workers live paycheck to paycheck. But even more surprising, 1 in 10 people earning over $100,000 a year are also living paycheck to paycheck. So clearly, this isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Because if you can't control your consumption habits, it doesn't matter how much you produce. Even the richest celebrities, from Tyson to countless others, can go broke when they lose control of their spending. Part 3. The money trap. Escaping the rat race. You've probably heard the term rat race. It's often used to criticize the 9-to-5 lifestyle, but that's not really what it means. The real rat race isn't about your job. It's about living on a financial edge. It's that constant feeling of being one paycheck away from disaster. The stress of knowing that if something goes wrong, an accident, job loss, or medical bill, everything could collapse. That's not freedom. That's financial anxiety. And once you're stuck in that cycle, your job stops being a choice. It becomes a lifeline. You're no longer working because you want to. You're working because you have to. As Tyler Durden famously said in Fight Club, the things you own end up owning you. So how do we break free? The first step in personal finance is awareness. You can't manage what you don't measure. That's why tracking your expenses, rent, food, entertainment, transport, is so critical. It helps you see yourself clearly as a consumer. But most people avoid it because it's uncomfortable. In behavioral finance, that's called the ostrich effect, the tendency to avoid bad financial news. It's that sinking feeling when you don't want to check your bank balance after a weekend out. But once you push past that fear, you take control. From there comes budgeting, planning how much you'll spend in each category and sticking to it. The goal isn't to deprive yourself. It's to live below your means so you can finally build savings and investments. Start with an emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This one step alone can protect you from financial collapse. Because living below your means doesn't mean living poorly. It means living intentionally. So ask yourself, why do we spend money we don't have to buy things we don't need just to impress people we don't even like? That's social proof, one of the biggest traps in financial psychology. When everyone around you is buying, you feel the urge to buy too. It's the old saying, keeping up with the Joneses. Only today, the Joneses aren't your neighbors. They're influencers, friends online, people you barely know. And we're all competing for perceived success, not real wealth. Remember this, do you care more about looking rich or being rich? That's the difference between those who escape the rat race and those who stay trapped in it forever. Part 4. Production, the other side of the equation. Now that we've talked about managing money, let's talk about making it. There are incredible channels like Graham Stephan or Dave Ramsey that teach practical ways to cut expenses and build savings. But one thing they don't emphasize enough is how to expand your production, how to earn more. Because yes, saving helps, but you can't save your way to wealth alone. True financial growth comes from increasing your production, your ability to create value. Think about it. Graham Stephan doesn't make 6 figures a month because he cuts coupons. He does it because he creates value at scale, through his content, business, and brand. Dave Ramsey built an entire empire by helping millions learn financial literacy. They both produce massive value, and the market rewards them for it. That's the secret of wealth creation. Find a problem, create a solution, deliver it at scale. That's entrepreneurship. But production doesn't only mean building a business. It could mean using your talents, creativity, or skills to create something valuable. A YouTube channel, a course, an app, a service, or even art. You don't need to be the next Jeff Bezos. You just need to understand your own potential to produce. When I started making YouTube videos, it wasn't just for views. It was because I knew I could combine storytelling, editing, and psychology to bring value to people, and the market responded. That's the beauty of the internet. It's the greatest equalizer in human history. Anyone can produce something of value and share it with the world. And if people find it useful, they'll exchange their money, their representation of value, for yours. So, to summarize, understand yourself as a consumer. Track your habits, create a budget, and manage your spending. Understand yourself as a producer. Find ways to offer real value to others through your job, business, or creativity. That's the true equation of financial freedom. Because ultimately, wealth isn't just about money. It's about mindset, behavior, and the value you bring into the world. If you've made it this far, thank you. That already tells me you care about improving your money mindset and building a better financial future. If this video gave you something valuable, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more deep dives into personal finance, financial psychology, and money management, consider subscribing. Because at the end of the day, money isn't the goal. It's the tool that allows you to live a life of purpose, peace, and freedom. As always, stay grounded, stay disciplined, and remember, the moment you control money, it stops controlling you. Hands up. Salute.